Today on Inquirer. Another judge inhibits from former Senator Lito Lima's final drug case. Justice Secretary Remulla announces he underwent heart bypass surgery. Despite his health condition, Remulla says he will not resign.
Never.
If El Nino prolongs, PAGASA warns 2024 could be one of the warmest years on record. And Meta launches Threads, its Twitter killer app. Good evening. The second judge in former Senator Lito Lima's final drug case voluntarily inhibits himself from presiding over the case. To tell us more, here's Zakarian Sarao reporting live. Zach?
Yes, Bay. In Muntinlupa City Regional Trial Court Branch 204's order on Thursday afternoon, presiding Judge Abraham Joseph Alcantara concurred with an earlier motion seeking his voluntary inhibition. Alcantara said he reached the decision to quote-unquote put to rest any questions against his credibility. It can be recalled that a DOJ panel of prosecutors on Wednesday filed a motion pointing out that Alcantara is the same judge who acquitted the Lima in a near-identical case on May 14. The prosecutors stressed that voluntary inhibition is imperative to quote-unquote erase any doubt about the judge's impartiality. With this, Alcantara is the second judge to inhibit from the Lima's final drug case, the first one being Muntinlupa City RTC Branch 256, presiding Judge Romeo Buenaventura. The Lima has been in detention at Camp Crame in Quezon City since February 24, 2017, just months after launching a Senate inquiry into President Rodrigo Duterte's bloody war on drugs. She was arrested over charges accusing her of being involved in illegal drug trade, which she repeatedly denied. The Lima has to date won 2 of the 3 drug cases lodged against her. Back to you, Bay.
Mm-hmm. And Zach, what's next after this, and how does this exactly affect the trial for the final case against the Lima?
Well, just like when the previous presiding judge inhibited in June 14, the Lima's last drug case would have to again be re-raffled to another RTC. Initially, the hearing for the said case was already set tomorrow morning in the Muntinlupa's RTC Branch 204, but with Alcantara's inhibition, this means we'll have to wait for the case to land on another RTC before a hearing is set. Therefore, this process would definitely further extend the Lima's time in detention and the overall pacing of her trial. Back to you.
Thank you, Zach. That's Zakarian Sarao reporting live. Following his 10-day wellness leave, Justice Secretary Remulla reveals he underwent heart bypass surgery. Remulla says the procedure happened a day after he started his wellness leave on June 26. According to Remulla, doctors discovered he had blockages in his heart during his annual checkup from June 21 to 23. The Department of Justice chief says he would most likely be back to work by Monday, July 10, although he says he may first need to work remotely in the following weeks.
Next week, by Monday, technically I'm back to work, but I cannot keep on going here. I have to be careful. Ingat lang. I'll be meeting the leadership on Monday. Lahat ng USEC, ASEC, I'll be meeting them Monday morning after the flag para sa instructions at para magkaroon ng yung mga directions, mga orders na kinakailangan. But I'll be talking to them often naman no. Kaya lang I have to play it by ear kasi hindi pwedeng ipilit Hindi pwedeng ipilit na bumalik agad sa normal kasi physically it's better that I regain my full strength first.
Asked if this health condition may lead him to resign from his post, Remulla responds,
Never. I serve at the pleasure of the President, and I will continue to discharge my functions as long as the President believes in my capability to lead the department.
The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration warns that should El Nino prolong, next year would become one of the warmest years on record. In a public briefing, PAGASA Assistant Weather Services Chief Annalisa Solis says the year 2024 could be one of the warmest on record due to the possible prolonged effects of El Nino. The State Weather Bureau on Tuesday declared the onset of the El Nino phenomenon in the country. According to PAGASA, El Nino is the unusual warming of the ocean surface in the central and eastern tropical Pacific. This could trigger disruptions in the local weather patterns. The phenomenon increases the prospect of below normal rainfall conditions that could bring dry spells or droughts. Solis reminds the public to follow health measures to prevent heat-related illnesses.
Next year, sir, kung mag-prolong po itong El Nino, so may possibility po na it could be one of the warmest year on record kapag meron po tayong El Nino. So yung pong ating mga health issues and health measures ay kailangan din po ay pag-igtingin natin kung magkakaroon po ng prolong na El Nino condition. So ingat lang po tayo palagi.
Senator Lito Lapid is proposing a mashup slogan for the country's tourism campaign. Lapid urged Filipinos to work together to create a better tourism campaign, suggesting to use "Wow, more fun, love the Philippines." In a statement, Lapid stressed that the fiasco should not overshadow the Department of Tourism's efforts to improve the Philippine tourism industry. He adds that the controversial Love the Philippines campaign video made by advertising agency DDB Philippines was only meant for internal stakeholders and not yet the public. Despite the criticism it received
in a sari-sari store in Cebu,
the DOT and Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco. A Filipino fisherfolk group calls on the government to popularize in different venues the Philippines' 2016 arbitral victory in the South China Sea rather than nitpick on the Barbie movie. Pamalakaya believes President Bongbong Marcos' administration should strongly assert the country's national sovereignty by popularizing the landmark ruling, which invalidates Beijing's claim in nearly the entire South China Sea. This instead of yielding to suggestions to ban the film Barbie over its depiction of China's 9-dash line claim. The group adds that the Marcos administration would appear much tougher if it confronts China about its encroachment in the West Philippine Sea, even citing a recent incident. Just last week, Chinese vessels maneuvered dangerously close to Philippine Coast Guard ships. For their part, Pamalakaya says Filipino fishers are too busy walking our talk and safeguarding our fishing grounds to nitpick on the film. President Bongbong Marcos has directed all government departments and agencies to adopt a new anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing strategy for 2023 to 2027, according to the palace. Under Executive Order Number 33, Marcos orders all government offices to execute the National Anti-Money Laundering, Counterterrorism, Financing, and Counter-Proliferation Financing Strategy. This strategy was adopted as part of efforts to remove the Philippines from the gray list of the International Group Financial Action Task Force. In its website, the Financial Action Task Force leads global action to tackle money laundering, terrorist, and proliferation financing. Being on the list means that the country is still working on improving its anti-money laundering policies. The President's new order gives the National Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Financing of Terrorism Coordinating Committee more power to reorganize itself. It also makes the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency a member of the panel. Meta has launched the Threads platform, a rival to Twitter. Threads' arrival comes after Meta's chief executive, Mark Zuckerberg, and Twitter owner Elon Musk have traded barbs for months, even going as far as threatening to fight in a real-life mixed martial arts cage match. According to Zuckerberg, the Threads app logged 10 million signups in 7 hours. Analysts say Threads' ties to Instagram might give it a built-in user base and advertising apparatus. This could siphon advertising revenue from Twitter at a time when its new CEO is trying to revive its struggling business. While Threads launched as a standalone app, users can log in using their Instagram credentials and follow the same accounts. This potentially makes it an easy addition to existing habits for Instagram's more than 2 billion monthly active users. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Pauline Del Rosario ng Bandera. Pauline?
Hello, Bay! At sa mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Heto ang latest chika. Kakaibang saya ang nararamdaman ngayon ng unkabogable star na si Vice Ganda sa piling ng kanyang mister na si Ayon Perez. Yan ang naging update mismo ni Vice matapos siyang kamustahin sa podcast interview ng Updated with Nelson Canlas. Ayon pa sa komedyana, wala na siyang mahihiling pa dahil super happy at feeling blessed siya sa kanyang married life. Sipa nga ng phenomenal box office star, talagang araw-araw siyang nagpapasalamat sa Diyos lalo na't natupad ang kanyang panalangin pagdating sa estado ng kanyang love life. Kung matatandaan, taong 2021 nang ikinasal si Vice at Ayon na ginanap sa isang chapel sa Las Vegas. At yan ang latest bandera chika natin for today. Thank you, Bay!
Maraming salamat, Pauline. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Beatriz Pinlac. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good evening.